Late one night, far from any declared war zone, a US drone crossed into Venezuelan airspace. No announcement, no press conference. Minutes later, a port facility on Venezuela's coast was hit. Washington did not officially confirm it. Caracas did not immediately respond, but reports say the operation was linked to the CIA. This was not a warning shot. This was a message. The reported drone strike on a port facility along Venezuela's coast did not look like a typical military operation. There were no troop movements, no public warnings, no immediate confirmation. Instead, details came out slowly through intelligence-linked reporting and statements hinted at by US leadership. According to these reports, the target was a small and remote dock area. US officials described it as a location used by drug trafficking networks to load speedboats and other vessels. These boats are often used to move narcotics through the Caribbean and towards Central America and Mexico. The strike itself was highly controlled. Sources say the site was empty at the time. No injuries were reported, no major fires followed. The structure was damaged enough to disrupt its use, but not destroyed beyond recognition. This kind of precision matters. It suggests the goal was disruption, not punishment. The message was aimed at capability, not people. President Trump later spoke publicly about an attack on a dock where drugs were loaded onto boats. He did not name the CIA or any specific agency. That silence is important because it allows plausible distance while still sending a signal. There was also no immediate reaction from Venezuelan authorities, no emergency session, no urgent military response. That pause suggests Caracas may have been caught off guard or chose not to escalate. This silence on both sides shows how controlled the situation was meant to be. It was not about headlines, it was about leverage. Timing is rarely accidental in intelligence operations. The strike came after months of increased pressure on Venezuela through sanctions, especially targeting oil exports and shipping networks. These sanctions have already weakened government revenue and raised internal stress inside the country. At the same time, the US has been stepping up its regional counter-narcotics campaign. Dozens of drug boats have been intercepted or destroyed in international waters. Officials argue that coastal infrastructure is just as important as boats themselves. By striking a dock inside Venezuela, the US extended that logic inland, even if only slightly. This move also fits a broader strategy of quiet enforcement. Rather than announce a new policy, Washington appears to be testing limits. How far can it go without triggering a diplomatic crisis? How will regional partners respond? Will Venezuela retaliate or stay silent? Domestic politics also play a role. Tough action against drug trafficking plays well with American voters. It shows strength without the cost of deploying troops or starting a visible conflict. In short, the moment was chosen because it offered maximum pressure with minimal exposure. A CIA-linked operation changes the rules. Military strikes usually follow clear chains of command and public justification. Intelligence operations do not. They operate under different legal frameworks and reporting standards. Using the CIA allows US leadership to act without declaring hostilities. It keeps the operation classified, limits congressional visibility, and reduces international fallout. This approach has been used before in counterterrorism operations, especially in regions where open military action would cause backlash. Applying it in Venezuela is new and controversial. Critics argue it crosses a line. Venezuela is not an active battlefield. It is a sovereign nation, even if hostile to US interests. Supporters argue the opposite. They say drug trafficking networks operate outside the law and require unconventional responses. What matters is that this method allows the US to apply force while maintaining strategic ambiguity. That ambiguity is a tool in itself. Every covert strike carries risk. Even if Venezuela does not respond publicly, the memory remains. Future incidents can stack tension on top of tension. One misstep could turn quiet pressure into open conflict. There's also the issue of precedent. If the US can strike infrastructure inside another country under the banner of counter-narcotics, other powers may claim similar rights. Russia, China, and even regional actors will watch closely. They will study how the US explains this action and how the international community reacts. If there's no pushback, the threshold for covert force lowers globally. That is why analysts see this strike as more than a single event. It is a test case. This operation signals a shift in how Washington deals with Venezuela. Sanctions alone are no longer the only tool. Intelligence-driven action is now on the table. That does not mean war is coming. It means pressure will be applied quietly, unpredictably, and selectively. For Venezuela, the message is clear. Coastal operations are no longer untouchable. For the US, the challenge will be balance. Push too hard and escalation becomes real. Push too softly and the message fades. For now, this strike sits in the gray zone. Not peace, not war. Just power being exercised without words. This drone strike may not lead to war, but it sends a clear signal. The United States is no longer limiting its pressure to sanctions and speeches. It is willing to act quietly, directly, and without warning. The real question now is not what happened at that dock, it is what comes next.